For thousands of years, the far edge of the solar system was known as a place of silence. Beyond Pluto, where sunlight was weak and endless darkness covered the stars, no civilization dared to travel. Ancient space maps marked the region as empty. But they were wrong. A deep space exploration fleet from the Zorvan Empire entered the frozen zone searching for lost technology. The mission was simple: find forgotten worlds, collect ancient weapons, and bring back anything that could make their empire stronger. The fleet commander, General Kale, believed nothing could surprise him. He had conquered dozens of planets and defeated countless enemies. To him, the darkness beyond Pluto was just another place waiting to be claimed. Then his sensors found something impossible. Hidden between thousands of giant ice rocks was a massive structure, a fortress. It was larger than any station the aliens had ever seen. Its metal walls were covered with scars from ancient battles. Huge sections of the fortress were damaged, but it still floated silently in space. The alien crew stared at the screens in confusion. How could something this old still exist? The scientists scanned the structure and discovered something even stranger. The fortress was over 15,000 years old. General Kale smiled. He believed they had discovered a dead machine left behind by a forgotten species. He ordered his fleet to move closer and prepare to enter. But then something happened. The ancient fortress suddenly reacted. Thousands of lights appeared across its surface. Massive engines that had been silent for thousands of years slowly awakened. Hidden weapons moved into position, pointing directly at the alien fleet. The aliens stopped moving. A message appeared on every ship's screen. Warning: unknown civilization detected. The aliens looked at each other. Unknown civilization? Who could still be here after 15,000 years? Then another message appeared. Human territory. Leave immediately. The entire fleet went silent. Humanity? The name was only found in ancient records. A species that disappeared long ago. A species many believed was weak and forgotten. But as the fortress powered up around them, the aliens began to understand one terrifying truth. They had not discovered a forgotten ruin. They had awakened a guardian. And the last mistake of every conqueror before them was about to become their own. The alien fleet remained frozen outside the ancient human fortress. No one spoke. Even General Kale, who had faced the strongest armies in the galaxy, could not understand what was happening. A structure that had been silent for 15,000 years had just identified itself as human territory. The scientists quickly searched every ancient database they had. They looked for information about humanity, but most records were damaged or incomplete. Only one fact remained clear. Long ago, humans were considered one of the most dangerous civilizations in the galaxy. But then they vanished. The Zorvan Empire believed humanity had disappeared because they were defeated. They believed humans were simply another failed species that could not survive against stronger powers. But the fortress told a different story. General Kale ordered a small team to enter the structure and discover its secrets. The entrance opened slowly, revealing a massive hallway filled with old human technology. The alien explorers walked carefully through the dark corridors. They expected to find a dead machine. Instead, they found a living memory. The walls displayed thousands of battles. They showed alien fleets attacking human colonies. They showed powerful empires arriving with millions of soldiers. And they showed the same thing every time. The attackers lost. The explorers became nervous as they watched the recordings. These were not stories. They were real battles recorded by the fortress itself. One scientist discovered a hidden message written by the original human builders. We do not seek war. We only prepare for those who bring it to us. The words shocked everyone. Humanity had never wanted to conquer the galaxy. They only built the fortress because the galaxy kept trying to destroy them. Then the explorers found something even more frightening. Deep inside the fortress was a giant chamber. Inside it were thousands of empty human ships. They were not destroyed. They were waiting. Suddenly, the fortress AI activated again. A new message appeared. Threat level confirmed. Preparing defensive awakening. The aliens finally understood. The fortress was not the last thing humanity left behind. It was the first thing humanity would send back. Inside the ancient fortress, the alien explorers continued searching for answers. Every room they entered revealed another impossible discovery. The Zorvan scientists had studied thousands of alien civilizations, but they had never seen anything like this. Human technology was different. It was not built only for destruction. It was built for survival. Deep inside the fortress, the explorers discovered a massive archive chamber. Millions of records were stored inside, protected for thousands of years. The alien scientists activated the system, hoping to learn the weakness of the ancient human fortress. Instead, they discovered the truth about every empire that had tried to destroy it. The first record showed a powerful alien army arriving 14,800 years ago. They brought the largest fleet their civilization had ever created. Their leaders believed victory was guaranteed, but after entering human space, the entire fleet disappeared. The second record showed another empire with stronger weapons and advanced technology. They believed they could defeat the fortress easily. They never returned either. One by one, the records showed the same story. Different enemies, different weapons, different strategies, but the same ending: failure. General Kale watched the recordings in silence. For the first time in his life, he felt uncertain. How did a forgotten species defeat so many powerful civilizations? He asked. No one had an answer. Then the fortress AI appeared on their screens. Humanity survived because it learned from every enemy. The message continued. Every attack made us stronger. Every war taught us something new. The aliens looked at the ancient battles again and finally understood. The fortress was not powerful because of its weapons. It was powerful because humanity had spent 15,000 years preparing for the day someone would return. Suddenly, alarms echoed throughout the station. The fortress detected something outside. More ships were entering the Pluto region. The Zorvan Empire had sent reinforcements. Thousands of warships were approaching. They believed their first fleet had found an ancient treasure. They did not know they had just awakened humanity's oldest defense. And this time, the fortress was no longer sleeping. The arrival of the Zorvan reinforcement fleet changed everything. Thousands of alien warships surrounded the space beyond Pluto. Their massive engines burned brightly against the darkness, creating a wall of metal and fire around the ancient human fortress. The Zorvan commanders believed they had already won. They thought the old fortress was just a damaged relic from a forgotten age. They believed their advanced weapons would destroy it within minutes. But they did not understand what they had awakened. Inside the fortress, the ancient systems continued activating one by one. For 15,000 years, the fortress had waited. Now it remembered its purpose. The alien fleet sent a final warning. Ancient machine, surrender your technology. Your creators are gone. You have no reason to continue fighting. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the fortress responded. A single message appeared across every alien screen. Correction. Humanity is not gone. The Zorvan commanders became silent. A second message followed. Humanity was never defeated. Humanity simply left. The aliens did not understand. If humans were alive, where were they? Why had they abandoned such a powerful fortress? Then the fortress opened a hidden communication channel. A signal traveled through space for the first time in thousands of years. Far beyond the known galaxy, something answered. The aliens watched in fear as another signal appeared on their scanners. Then another, and another. The old human network was waking up. The Zorvan scientists realized the truth. The fortress was never alone. It had been connected to thousands of forgotten human systems scattered across space. Every station, every ship, every hidden colony. They were all waiting for the same command. General Kale finally understood their mistake. They did not discover a dead civilization. They discovered a sleeping one. The fortress doors opened, revealing hundreds of ancient human warships hidden inside. Their designs were old, but their power was beyond anything the Zorvan Empire had ever seen. The galaxy had spent 15,000 years believing humanity was a lost memory. Now, that memory was returning, and the Zorvan Empire was about to learn why every previous conqueror failed. The space beyond Pluto became the center of the greatest battle the galaxy had ever seen. The Zorvan Empire sent everything they had. Thousands of warships surrounded the ancient human fortress. Their commanders believed that numbers would decide the battle. They had destroyed planets, conquered civilizations, and defeated armies that were considered unstoppable. To them, the human fortress was only one old machine. They were about to learn their mistake. The first wave of Zorvan ships fired their strongest weapons. Powerful energy beams crossed the darkness and struck the fortress walls. But nothing happened. The ancient human shield absorbed the attacks like they were nothing more than small sparks. The Zorvan commanders became confused. Their strongest weapons had failed. Then the fortress moved. For 15,000 years, it had remained silent. Now, its massive engines pushed it forward through space. The aliens watched in fear as the forgotten fortress revealed its true size. Hidden sections opened, showing thousands of human defense ships that had been sleeping inside. The Zorvan fleet prepared to attack again. But the human ships moved differently. They did not rush. They did not panic. They moved with perfect control, like they had already seen this battle thousands of times before. The Zorvan commanders realized something terrifying. Humanity had not created weapons for one war. They had created weapons that could survive every war. One by one, the Zorvan ships lost their power. Their attacks failed against human technology that had evolved through centuries of conflict. The alien soldiers who once laughed at human legends now watched their fleet collapse. A Zorvan commander sent a final message. Why did humanity hide for so long? The Fortress AI answered, because peace was our choice, but survival was our promise. The battle ended. The Zorvan Empire lost the greatest fleet it had ever created. And across the galaxy, every civilization received the same message. Humanity was not a forgotten species. Humanity was the reason the old enemies never returned. Beyond Pluto, the ancient fortress stood once again, not as a relic, but as a warning. After the battle beyond Pluto ended, silence returned to the edge of the solar system. The Zorvan Empire, once feared across thousands of worlds, was forced to accept a truth they never expected. Humanity was still alive. The ancient fortress remained floating among the stars, surrounded by the broken remains of the strongest fleet the galaxy had ever witnessed. But instead of destroying the defeated enemies, the fortress simply watched them leave. The aliens could not understand. After everything that happened, why did humanity show mercy? The answer was hidden inside the fortress archives. The explorers discovered the final message left by the original human builders thousands of years ago. It was not a message of revenge. It was a message of hope. Strength is not measured by how many enemies you destroy. Strength is measured by how many times you choose not to. The galaxy finally learned the truth about humanity. Humans were never trying to rule the stars. They never wanted endless wars or endless conquest. They built the fortress because they understood something other civilizations ignored. Peace without protection was only a temporary dream. The Zorvan Empire shared the story of what happened beyond Pluto. Other civilizations that once searched for human weaknesses now searched for human friendship. The ancient fortress became a symbol across the galaxy, a reminder that even after 15,000 years, some legends never die. Years passed, but the fortress continued its silent mission. It watched distant planets. It protected forgotten space routes. And it waited, because the universe was always changing. New enemies could rise. New threats could appear. But now every civilization knew one thing. Beyond Pluto, hidden in the darkness, stood a fortress that had survived every conqueror. A fortress built by a species that refused to disappear. A fortress that remembered humanity. And as the stars continued to shine, the galaxy understood the greatest lesson of all. Humanity could be patient. Humanity could be peaceful. But when the universe threatened everything they protected, humanity would always return.